Hello everyone and welcome to a new virtual pet review video. This time I'm reviewing the Tamagotchi Connection 4.5, which I started a couple of weeks ago now for the Connection related hatch in the Tamatown Discord server. So while I had been running my Connection version 1 and in the review I was quite negative on it, I did explain that was because the connections that followed the version 1 obviously greatly improved on the functionality, and while I haven't played the 5.5 or the 6 yet, and I mean I have played the 7, but I'm not really sure if I count that as a connection because it just is a different size, has different features, but I do and I don't anyway. So I think that the 4.5 is probably one of the best versions, and that is, it really has a feature that is one of my favourite Tamagotchi features, and that is the Tamagotchi that the next generation hatches into. So the baby of your Tamagotchi and the baby of the grandparents of that Tamagotchi or what have you really determine what Tamagotchi your Tamagotchi will most likely evolve into. So that means that if two parents are from a certain family, that will increase the likelihood of the Tamagotchi hatching into a baby from a certain family, and that means that each generation has different possibilities. You might have several generations and never get the same Tamagotchi, and it just makes the roster seem all that larger. And it's a bit like the functionality in the Tamagotchi meets, where you pass on genetics, and while that is a little bit different, the Tamagotchis are still set Tamagotchis, they're still the set characters. It is still kind of fun to have a big roster like that with a vast amount of options you can evolve into, and it also takes into account the personality of the Tamagotchi. Now you get these personality points by doing certain games, like different games gives you different personality points, and these can be looked at from the stats screen. So I got Yatachi, which means that I had a lot of funny personality points, but if I had higher spiritual or higher body, I would have had a different Tamagotchi. So instead of having it focused on the amount of care mistakes and how well you look after it, when it evolves to an adult, it more looks at the personality points that you have. And of course there are some characters that you need a crazy high amount of personality points. I think there's one that just looks like some weird muscle, and you need 300 body points or something along those lines to get that one. So that's a lot of the games. But the games are actually not that bad. I know I wasn't really a fan of any of the games from the first Tamagotchi. I mean, I thought they were fine, but I thought that they had a lot of effort that needed to be put into them. These games are actually kind of fun. I know I've played them before. I do like Climb, where you're jumping on clouds. Tug of War's pretty fun, actually. You basically fight against other Tamagotchi characters, and you have to fill a gauge. I don't know, it's pretty fun. And Apple is another catch game. Shapes is a similar catch game. I think Manhole's also a similar catch game. But these are your personality games, and you unlock more games as your Tamagotchi grows up. These games are unlocked when you get to the teen stage because you need to get specific personality points, so it makes it a little bit easier. Like the version 2, the version 3, and the version 4, it has a shop, which is where you can spend, it's a sale day apparently, which is another feature I love. I love that there are events because it has the date time functionality. So if I go here, I can buy food for the Tamagotchi, and there is also a chest, which I think is just a random item. Let's give it a go. And it sells 4 items that change daily, and obviously there's a functionality where you press A, the salesperson goes into this shocked expression, which is when you put in codes, and if you put in the right code, you unlock certain items, and that's the same as the version 2, where I think the first item's a pencil, and then you can get a CD, and then I think that's a love potion, but I'm not 100%. And there's a costume, and then there's a cell phone, which I can't use at the moment. I think I can call the king at least, but if this was a second generation or third or beyond, I could call the parents of this Tamagotchi or the grandparents of this Tamagotchi. So let's use the chest that we just bought, which I think from memory is a random item. Or a random thing, random event. I can't quite remember. You get points from it. That's not bad. How many points do I get? 500 points. So that's better than a poke in the eye with a blunt stick. So I got more money from it. So kind of fun things like that really make the makes you want to play the Tamagotchi more than just the one egg cycle that you might have, or maybe the 2 egg cycles. Like it's just a bit more enjoyable than the version 1, and by a bit I mean quite a lot more. There's a lot to do. Your Tamagotchi can get a job, for example, which also takes into account the personality points. There are daily events, so there's a fortune, which has your likelihood to get certain things, so 3 points for money. That makes sense. That's probably why I opened the money from that chest. And you also get mail, and this is mail from the Gotchi King, who might give you special items or points or what have you, or he might tell you to get a job or what have you. You get mail from different characters. I know this is in the Japanese version, but you can also get a robber will come in and steal Gotchi points from you. I haven't experienced that on the English version, but it is on the Antama, which is more or less the same version. And also the C button gives a cute little animation where it runs up to the screen and smiles at you, which is really adorable. Obviously there's the ability to connect, where you can connect with the same version or other versions, and you can take your Tamagotchi to its work, which mine doesn't have a job yet, so if I click that I'd probably get sent to the job making place. Or maybe I'm just graduating from school at this moment. I think I'm graduating from school. Or maybe I'm a teacher now, I don't know. So that's the, I think that's like the principal. Oh, he's gifting me funny personality points. Oh no, I have to pick where the funny personality points are going. Now I remember. Yeah, so I played the version 4 a lot as a kid, and I was actually older than a kid. I was in high school by the time the version 4 came out, but it was definitely my favourite. It had a lot more functionality than the version 3 had, or the version 2 had, which were I enjoyed from the start of high school to the end of primary school. So it does sort of expand on that, but also, because it's a 4.5, it actually takes a lot of the characters from the Uratama, which is when you get all the Ura-themed Tamagotchis. Obviously the sprites aren't blue like in the Uratama, but it's got the same characters at least. So I'm not sure whether or not I would give the 4 and the 4.5 the same rating. For now, I'm going to say I will give it the same rating because it does have very similar functionality. The personality points have different names, and you get different Tamagotchis in terms of the roster. But for now, I'm going to say that both the versions are the same, and will get the same rating. And of course, when I run my version 4 again, maybe I'll make an amendum, but they are the same. The 4.5, in fact, did fix a couple of bugs that were in the original version 4. I don't think that was the version that Australia got. I think we got like a wave 2 of the version 4, if that makes sense. The main difference between the two in terms of the way it looks is that the star is actually a circle on the version 4. So yes, in terms of rating, I would give the version 4 and the version 4.5 an enjoyment rating of 8 out of 10. I really do enjoy it. I feel like it's probably the best connection, though that's sort of pending my own playthrough of the version 5.5 and 6. And as in terms of ease of use, it's a 7. Like, it's very easy to look after. I got I got the Tamagotchi I wanted, which is kind of uncommon. And I didn't really spend that much attention looking after it. So, would I recommend this? Absolutely. The Tamagotchi connections do not go for that much compared to the price of a Digimon, for example. So I would absolutely recommend getting a version 4 or 4.5. Maybe check out the Wikia, the Tamagotchi Wikia, for what the roster is, and basically choose between what roster you like more. And yeah, so big fan of that, of the ability to sort of almost determine what Tamagotchi character you get by the parents. I don't know, I really like that. And yeah, so that's basically more or less my thoughts on the Tamagotchi Connection 4 and 4.5. Big fan. Do recommend it if you do want a Tamagotchi, and obviously it is better than the version 1. I would, if you had to get a Tamagotchi Connection, version 4.5 definitely over the version 1, the version 2 and the version 3. And obviously version 4 is the same. But yes, so those are my thoughts on the Tamagotchi Connection 4 and 4.5. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!